Good evening guys and welcome to today's video. Now before we get started, let me just clarify that this one is gonna be a bit different than what you can usually expect on the channel. Now I myself am a big fan of the Battlefield series, right? I would love for the next Battlefield to be the best Battlefield. Obviously everyone would like that. And while there's been a lot of hype around Battlefield 1, I still kind of feel, and I might be the only one, but I still kind of feel like it lacks something, right? Now, it's just not as good as 3 was, at least in my eyes. I decided to maybe discuss it a little bit and say what my opinions are on what would make a great next Battlefield. However, I am actually not going to be doing that alone. Today, I am joined by Dave from the MiDa channel. You can find his channel in the description, make sure to check him out. And he is also a fan of the Battlefield series. He has played Battlefield 1 and he is here to help maybe guide this discussion and offer some of his own ideas as onto what would make a good Battlefield 6 or Jesus, I don't even know how many have there been. What would make the next good Battlefield? So, without further ado, let's get into it. In case you're wondering why the footage on the background is not Battlefield 1, it's because I don't own Battlefield 1 actually. I've just played a bit of it and never bought it for myself. So yeah, you know, I'm poor. Wow. So I am here today with David, who is also a lover of the Battlefield games, and we decided to discuss what we think the previous Battlefield games did so well that it should carry over to the next games. So Dave, first of all, tell me, which Battlefield is your favorite, or which one did you like the most?
My favorite one was definitely the Battlefield 3, since I have a lot of good memories of playing it with many classmates of mine. I've also played all the Bad Companies and Battlefield 2 and all the other Battlefields, but none was as good as the one I played with maybe 8 classmates, and it was really good because we had so much fun playing it. So yeah, my favorite is definitely the Battlefield 3.
Yeah, I definitely have to back you up on that one. Now, I myself am a scrub with no money, and I don't have Battlefield 1. So I was hoping you could make, I mean, I've seen some gameplay of it, right? But I was hoping you could maybe give me some insight into what the game was like. Now, maybe just give me like a general review. You don't have to compare it to the other games yet. Just tell me what were your feelings on it.
The single player was probably one of the best single players I've ever played in my life. But since it was all made as a storytelling, as you were going through all the objectives, the guy that was telling the story to his daughter was talking while you were actually going to that objective or shooting or everything. It was like he was saying things like it was super hard. We almost got that objective when suddenly the airplanes came, and then the airplanes came in. You know, it was really nice as a storytelling.
Okay, so you would say it was like it was a very much memorable story, right?
Yeah, it was a really memorable story.
Would you say it was the best single player of any Battlefield games so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean that's definitely something.
I mean, the Battlefield 3 was nice. It was like I really loved the single player in Battlefield 3 because it was like a modern type of warfare, trying to show us how it really works in battlefields in real life.
Yeah.
What soldiers have to do, but this was even more than that. It was like a history, a war, a big world war, you know, and it was.
I think what personally was my biggest gripe with Battlefield 3, single players, like the campaign, was that none of the characters came out like very memorable to me. I don't really remember anyone's names. I kind of remember some of the missions. Some of them really stood out, especially the one in the moving train, which you kind of play a bit in the beginning and then in the very end. But I don't remember any of the characters' names. I don't really remember the conflict. It was visually nice, but I just felt it was kind of weak story-wise. I don't know. That's kind of what I felt.
Yeah. I know I shouldn't compare this to Call of Duty, but for example, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, all 3 episodes, you had these characters that
Yeah,
were
very much
really
memorable.
awesome to play with, as in the game and as you remembered them, and you were
Yeah.
really like their friend, kind
Yeah,
of.
definitely. I mean, people seem to hate on Call of Duty quite a lot, but you have to admit that back in the days, like the Modern Warfare games actually had some very, very well made and memorable characters. I mean, think of someone like Ghost. That dude, almost like, did he actually ever speak?
I don't know actually.
I don't remember
I
him
don't
ever
remember.
talking, and yet he's like everyone's favorite character, right?
Yeah, maybe he was just having no tongue or something. Like,
Yeah,
he
maybe
was
he had some-
incapable of speaking. I don't know.
Maybe he had some gruesome injuries.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he, like, literally, think of a character that never talks, yet is so memorable. I mean, okay, Captain Price, you could make the argument that he was in Call of Duty 2, and then also in the Modern Warfare, so we already kind of knew him. But, yeah, like, Soap and Ghost, yeah, those were really great characters, so props to Call of Duty. But let's go back to Battlefield. So that's one thing that I think we can agree on, that the storyline has gotten better, and I think that's something that should carry over to the next Battlefield too. At least I would hope so. But let's start from the beginning. What do you think? Like, what do you think would be the best time period for the next Battlefield to choose?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't really have a problem with the World War II, because as I see the World War One, it's so nice, you know, all the trenches and everything they made, and I would freaking want to play the campaign in the World War II. You know, live, like the Nazis against the America, Pearl Harbor and everything.
Yeah.
I can imagine that would be probably even better than this one. And
Yeah, I can imagine too.
there's a high probability of that, because it could be beautiful. And so I would really want to play a World War II campaign.
Yeah, I do think, like, by choosing World War One in this one, I'm sure they kind of decided to go against the trend. I mean, like back in 2005-ish, maybe, all the games were going super hard on World War Two.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of realized this trend, and I think a lot of games try to move away from that. I mean, you got all the Modern Warfares, which literally has the word modern and warfare in the title.
Yeah.
So they were trying to move towards like future, and I mean, Call of Duty never really stopped, right? Right now you're fighting in like space and spaceships and whatnot. But Battlefield tried to go against the trend, and they picked something that I think is a very difficult thing to put into a Battlefield multiplayer game, especially when so much of Battlefield's multiplayer is just centered around upgrading your guns with flashy lasers or scopes, and this one magnifies it 6 times, this one 12 times, and you have anti-heat sinking smoke on your tanks and whatnot. And the problem with World War One, I think, in my opinion, is that yeah, there's a solid lack of customization when it comes to this, as the technology was just not there, and obviously DICE is trying to make it as realistic as possible, or to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel they kind of bit. I don't like to say more than they can chew, but they took on a pretty difficult theme. I think one of the reasons why Battlefield 3 remains, or even Battlefield 4 now, remains one of the most popular battlefields is because it takes place in basically the real world, like currently, in the current timeline. It gives you a lot of customization. It gives you huge game modes with a lot of players that people absolutely love. It gives you vehicles, it gives you customization, and it gives you all the modern gadgets like drones or tiny bots to play around with, which I think a lot of people appreciate. But I for one am kind of worried, how much longer is this gonna work, right? I mean, they did basically, if you kind of think about it, Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 are basically kind of the same thing multiplayer wise.
Only improved the graphics and everything. They are the same, but still In my opinion, it's maybe better than to go to futuristic times where you don't really know what it's gonna be. That you can just predict how it's gonna be, and people are not attracted to that. We could also see that on a trailer that Call of Duty
Oh yeah,
put on
that
YouTube
trailer.
with like over 2,500,000 dislikes and just
Yeah, that was.
few thousand likes. So that's what I think. I think if they create a good story mode in campaign, why would it be? Um,
Okay.
I
I
mean,
definitely
if
agree.
if they change the maps and everything, I would still buy it and play it. I don't care.
Yeah. I definitely agree with the fact that Second World War would be fine, because I think at this point, I mean, we've had our break, right? In 2005-ish, everyone was kind of sick of that Second World War gag already, and everyone tried super desperately to move away from that. But I feel like, I mean, basically, over 10 years later, we've kind of had our break, and I am ready to see a good Battlefield game set in the Second World War, right? I also think this would provide more customization than World War One. I mean, obviously, but still, yeah, we would have to see the execution on that. I mean, we know that the DICE has no problem creating games that look beautiful, but I mean, as we've seen, since they will most likely be backed by EA in recent titles like Battlefront, for example, they've really been trying to push to the wall, at least in my opinion, and the games ended up being really underwhelming, and I would be super scared of that happening to the newest Battlefield. So yeah, that's one of the things I would be mostly afraid of. I think Second World War would be a good time period, and they might just do that. I mean, I think I read a forum post about it somewhere that they were considering it, but that might just be a hoax. But okay, what do you think about the game modes? Do you think they should carry over the ones from 3 and 4, or should they try to change it and make some
game
new
modes
experimental game modes?
In you think like a medic, or what do you mean like?
No,
medic?
I mean like Conquest or Team Deathmatch.
That's
like
what
literal
that's
game
what
modes.
is Battlefield famous about the flag taking, and that's the most fair. So
I think
definitely sticking for the Conquest large. Of course, Team Deathmatch is not as famous with Battlefield as it is with Call of Duty.
that's more Call of Duty.
Yeah, but it's a part I've played that a few times. It was also fun. Since you don't have, these big, and some of them actually don't have vehicles, and sometimes it's good just to play, player against player.
Yeah, it's a bit faster because the maps are also smaller
Exactly.
in the Team
It's
Deathmatches.
much faster gameplay. When someone says, "Oh, Battlefield is much slower," it's tried to be realistic, it's slower, then you should play a Rush or
Yeah.
a Team Deathmatch in
Rushed or yeah,
in,
the Team Deathmatches. I
Battlefield.
I think the real like the gist and the bread and butter of Battlefield, why everyone comes, are the large conquest maps with just 64 players, versing each other, where in matches that can take how long? I mean,
Oh well,
some
I
of the
played
matches.
matches that took 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, those can be and they can be really intense, especially if the score is kind of close and the teams are like very well balanced.
Yeah.
And it often comes down to
It's
like the final
extremely
few
stunning
kills.
and interesting ending. Like both teams have 20 tickets, and you're really like waiting who is gonna
Yeah, who's just gonna
just win
capture
and
next
who's gonna,
flag.
who's gonna lose, and that's really important back then. But I have
Yeah, and it also creates some of those beautiful moments when you're just hiding in a bush and a tank rolls up next to you,
yeah.
and you literally are laying down, holding your breath, and just praying to
Yeah,
God
yeah.
that he doesn't notice you.
Or like that
I mean-
moments when you already know it's bad, and you just run straight on the tank, and you see that the tank is aiming at you, and then you're just like you let off your keyboard and mouse, and you're just like, okay, kill me. I have
And it also
had this moment a few times.
it also gives you some of those rage-inducing moments when the same player kills you like fourth time in a row.
Yeah.
Like that one guy who sits in the helicopter the whole game and has like this disgusting kill streak of like 50 to 1.
Yeah, exactly.
the one guy everyone hates, and then you just switch to engineer just to kill him. Okay, so what we get so far is a game that should take, or like that will probably take place somewhere around the Second World War, with a strong single player campaign. Because I mean, I think a lot of people kind of saw with Battlefield 1 that they can do it, that they can really make a strong and kind of touching single player campaign. So this is definitely something they should carry over, and most likely I would keep the game modes the same. It's kind of fun when they create these like capture the pigeon and whatnot experimental modes, but I still think most players just come for the bread and butter of the Conquest Large, team deathmatches or deathmatch. I know there is this one mode in Battlefield 1, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's basically like a conquest on multiple maps that follow each other, and it only continues to the next map if you win on the first map. So it kind of gives you like an idea as if though you were literally a troop that's pushing back like the line of the war where the two armies are meeting. I'm not sure what that's called, but I've heard a lot of people praise it. Did you play it yourself?
I think that happened. I played it once, and as you were talking about it, I remember, yeah, that the same thing happened to me. Like I think I didn't win, so I had to keep playing the same one for a while. But I'm not really playing Battlefield 1 for a long time, maybe for 2-3 weeks, so I'm really new into that. And what's also maybe what I wanted to say about the difference, I know it takes time, but what is kind of shocking me on the Battlefield 1 gameplay is you don't have to have more than 10 kills to be the first on the server. I mean, I've seen guys that were doing the same in Battlefield 3, but it's kind of impossible. Because Battlefield 1 is all trying to be fair with getting the points. That means if you come and start capturing the flag, it will give you points every, I don't know, 2 seconds, just so that you were capturing the flag. Whereas in Battlefield 3, this wasn't really set up in a nice way, and you could literally just run in the flag area, and when there was the last tip that was needed to capture the flag, you would just get it and you have the full points. Maybe someone was waiting there to capture the flag for 2 minutes, and you just run in and have the flag. So this is really good, and I praise the Battlefield 1 in this, that you're actually getting points as you capture. So it's not, giving you points just when it's done, but through the whole process.
It's not like Team Fortress 2 payload, right?
Exactly.
It was nice. I think it very much encourages players to just not try to be there. Like Battlefield has always been one of those games where rather than encouraging players to be their own little Rambos and just go on massive kill streaks, it would always try to push them towards teamwork. And I think this is actually a really good step because it encourages teamwork, right? I mean, we can be both shooting at the same guy, and there's going to be no arguing about stealing kills if we both get points for basically damaging him.
Like I remember the times when there was 8 of us playing the game, calling on Skype, and we were winning map by map because 8 people capturing flags and talking together and making a tactic is indestructible. Even the best players and soldiers on the map were nothing compared to us, because imagine 4 medics, 2 or 3 engineers,
because it's a functional team,
or 1 sniper running somewhere. It's something you cannot stop. It's impossible, because if you kill 1 medic, there's 3 more medics just gonna heal him. It's like,
and I think we can even. I think this is even a great thing to close the video off on. That basically Battlefield, whatever they do, as long as they keep the spirit of supporting teamwork on large maps with good upgradability and with prospects in the future, we're basically gonna just like it, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, let's be honest. If it has the looks of a Frostbite engine, and if it has the smoothness and running of Battlefield 3, it's gonna be great. And I think we both have faith in DICE that they can do it.
They're making some beautiful games, and I just hope Battlefield will stick with these either past events or reality events that happen. for example, I would really maybe be happy about if DICE would think about or consider making a game such as the war in Vietnam or something, because they know everything they make really beautiful. So that's just from my side. Don't go to futuristic things. Battlefield, please.
Please,
No.
Battlefield, don't. Okay guys, well, this is what our thoughts have been on the next Battlefield game. The whole thing was kind of ranty because we didn't really prepare any structure, but I still think these are things that most Battlefield players can get behind, and in case you agreed or disagreed with anything of this, please make sure to let us know down in the comments. We would love to engage in an interesting debate with you, and if you have anything that you disagreed with, also make sure to let us know, and we can perhaps start some interesting arguments. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to go check out Dave's channel, MiDa, MIDA. The link will be down in the description. I wish you guys a beautiful rest of this evening, and I will see all you beautiful people in the next video. Bye bye.